man alive, because he had so much positive things going on there. And I read about that story and I was really angry. It's like 60,000 hours in your own head and the world is burning. I mean, come on, there are problems to solve here. And look, I mean, Mathieu Ricard, that's the Buddhist monk's name. He's actually a fantastic guy, pretty morally ambitious. So people got to read the epilogue as well. But
wait, is this guy now like getting shit talked all over Twitter?
No. Anyway, the point is, I mean, if my previous book was like a warm hug, then this is a cold shower,
right.
A refreshing cold shower.
A plunge. That's the thing now you're supposed to do. You go to the warm thing and then you go to the cold thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
What is the piece of advice that was missing from you from the hug? How do you restore faith in humanity and then get mad at them?
So look, a couple of.
I want to restore faith in humanity. Yeah. Oh, you people are just f***ing up left and right.
Okay, so a lot of people will know me.
Rutger Bregman didn't hold back, and his fire was aimed at the lazy left, spiritual escapism, and even his own readers. This wasn't just a debate, it was a takedown. Rutger Bregman just dragged an entire generation of passive do-gooders. And yes, he name-checked Davos and corporate lawyers while doing it. Hit subscribe if you're tired of feel-good fluff and want raw, unfiltered truth like this. The interview opened softly, philosophical even. Trevor Noah probed Bregman about his new book, Moral Ambition. The stage was set for a pleasant chat until Bregman exploded over a Buddhist monk. Trevor referenced the story Bregman tells of Mathieu Ricard, declared the happiest man in the world after meditating for 60,000 hours. But that's when things snapped. Bregman cut through the peace talk.
This man alive, because he had so much positive things going on there. And I read about that story and I was really angry. It's like 60,000 hours in your own head and the world is burning. I mean,
from that moment, Bregman took aim at the idea that individual serenity is somehow noble when the world is on fire. This wasn't just critique, it was a slap at the entire wellness movement and the elite who self-congratulate through mindfulness while dodging real change. Trevor Noah tried to offer a measured response, suggesting,
pretty vibrant, that we may not know their names, but there are so many people that don't get the attention that are doing what you're suggesting, but maybe without the access to the people that matter, like that don't get invited to Davos, but are doing the...
He echoed a common defense. The grassroots are working hard, they just aren't on magazine covers. But Bregman didn't let that slide. He dismantled that idea, not by denying the grassroots, but by turning the spotlight onto his own class. He fired back.
Many talented people who should actually work on these big problems. So look, I am not here to preach at people already in those essential jobs. I am actually preaching at sort of my own people because I'm quite angry at them.
You're talking about Dutch historians.
Trevor pressed again, arguing the real problem might be systemic.
Agnostic about moral ambition, it feels like there's enough people in this country working their asses off for change and a political system that finds a way to ignore them in favor of insurance.
Bregman has made a career out of calling BS on performative politics, especially on the left. He nuked the idea that awareness is enough, saying,
You gotta ask yourself, like, does this make a difference? In the book, I come to the conclusion that awareness is vastly overrated, right? It's easy to go viral shouting tax the rich or, destroy capitalism, kill the patriarchy. But the point is to actually do something about it, right? To really translate your ideas into actual action and then results.
Then came the killer line.
Translate your ideas into actual action and then results. And I think too often on the left side of the political spectrum, we see this obsession with moral.
He called out the Bermuda Triangle of talent and consulting, law, and finance, sucking in idealistic grads from elite universities like Harvard.
Young students, right, who are generally idealistic. But then at the same time, that about half of them will end up in what a friend of mine calls the Bermuda Triangle of talent. So you've got consultancy, you've got corporate law, you've got finance, this gaping black hole that sucks up so many talented people who should actually work on these big problems. So look, I am not here to preach at people already in those essential jobs. I am actually preaching at sort of my own.
And what does the research say?
Fancy resumes. If they go on strike, very often not all that much happens. I've got one study in the book from two Dutch economists, actually. They studied 40 countries and found that around 25% of people in the modern workforce think that their own job is socially meaningless. These are, by the way, mostly people...
Wait, how many?
25%. Yeah. It's like
I would actually think that'd be higher.
Well,
That stat hit like a brick. 1 in 4 people feel like they're doing nothing that matters, and many of them are the educated elite. Bregman isn't preaching to the working class. He's aiming at the brunch crowd. Trevor brought up ESG, environmental, social, governance investing, something Wall Street loves to boast about. His question sounded innocent.
you know, some of the best wealth managers, the best bankers, the best fiscal lawyers
But
that we
didn't
can
they
find.
try this with like the ESG, the investing for
ESG.
better? Was that just nonsense?
I mean, that is like,
it's
like a
nonsense.
thin layer of corporate responsibility.
Right,
over-
right.
And Bregman's answer was savage.
Nonsense?
I mean, that is like,
it's
like a
nonsense.
thin layer of corporate responsibility
Right,
over
right.
a corrupt, broken business model. I mean, come on, we got to be much more ambitious here. We're not living in.
He laughed it off, but not like it was funny, like it was embarrassing. Then he threw this grenade.
A corrupt, broken business model. I mean, come on, we got to be much more ambitious here. We're not living in 2015 anymore, where you can say, "Oh, I'm doing good by doing well,"
2015.
and let's do a TED talk about
Those
it.
were the days.
Yeah, no, that's not. I mean, this is.
Those days are over, he said. TED Talks won't save us, and ESG is just a sticker slapped on systems that still funnel cash to the top while preaching justice from a PR deck. Even the check your privilege crowd caught smoke.
It's talent, whether it's wealth, whether it's your network, use it. I mean, people on the left said for so long things like, check your privilege. Yes, check it, and then use it. Have some skin in the game.
Right. And is that working?
I think so.
This wasn't rhetoric. He was actively building something.
Together.
Absolutely.
And
So-
that's what you're not seeing happen.
Yeah, so I co-founded an organization as well called the School for Moral Ambition. Everything I earn with the book is going into
School for
that.
Moral Ambition.
Yeah. We like to see ourselves as
Let that sink in. He's paying people to leave high-paying jobs to go fight tobacco companies. Not to blog about it, not to journal, to fight.
So, but the point is, like, we have actually one of our fellows in our cohort is someone who used to work for Big Tobacco.
Right.
She switched sides and she knows everything about effective marketing, and now she's using that skills to fight the industry.
Right. Oh, that's fantastic.
Trevor, to his credit, kept probing. He asked about incentives. What can we offer to convince people to walk away from Wall Street, Big Law, and Silicon Valley? Bregman's answer cut through the noise.
Yeah, I think it's not just about the money. People are mixed bags, right? So
Right.
status and what society values, like the kind of people we put in the spotlight, who get invited to shows like this, that all
Right.
that matters, obviously.
Right. And what about sort of
The left has failed, not because they lack ambition, but because they've devalued it. They mock ambition as greed and forgot how powerful it is when fused with morality. Bregman demanded we make doing good fashionable again, like the abolitionists once did. He gave the ultimate pushback to incrementalism and local feel-good activism.
Don't eat meat, don't fly, don't have kids, don't use plastic straws. But then if you really focus on that individualist aspect of improving your life, like in the best possible scenario,
Right.
you will have reduced your environmental footprint to zero. You've basically turned yourself into a compost heap. It's not very ambitious. And if I look at some of these great pioneers, like people like
He wasn't insulting people. He was exposing the limited imagination of a generation that settled for reusable straws while corporations poisoned the planet. This wasn't performative outrage. He's literally paying people to walk away from power and take it back. For real. No TED Talk, no good vibes only. Just ambition fused with moral clarity, aimed straight at the systems that have stalled for too long. Feeling fired up? Subscribe now and stay tuned. We break down every elite lie, every fake progressive stunt, and every moment that matters. This movement, it's just getting started. The age of moral ambition is here.